In this video, we will talk about NotebookLM, which is an AI tool by Google, a bit different from all other mainstream AI tools that we see like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. So this NotebookLM will be grounded in your sources, like they say. So it's a very specific tool which will help you have conversations around some sources that you will feed it, whether these are PDF files or websites or anything related. And you can collaborate in teams, you can share your insights, or you can have conversations about these sources, and based on your specific application you can drive the conversation in that direction. So you can try an example notebook here which will give you an idea of the entire interface. So I'll use this example notebook to give you an idea of the interface of this tool. On the left side you see the sources that you can add. Since this is a predefined notebook, you can't edit it. So these are the sources that have been added here. You can click to collapse the source. Now this is the chat screen. Here you can have conversations with NotebookLM. And on the right side, you see Studio. Studio has an audio overview. We'll talk about what it is. And there are notes which you can add. Since this is, again, a predefined notebook, you can't edit here. But otherwise, you can have all these features which will help you go into the depths of each source. This is a very good research assistant that can be used across multiple professions. So let's start. I will click on Create New Notebook here. And the first thing that it does is asks you to add sources, right? It could be from your Google Drive. It could be a link, a website, or a video. It could be a text that has been copied to your clipboard, and the source limit is 50. So here I'm going to add a few sources and give you a demo of what this is all about. The supported file types are PDF, text, markdown file, audio, PNG, JPEG, and JPG. Let me add a few sources which are stored in my local storage. There are a few PDF files and there is a PNG image as well. So I've added all of them. And it has said that there are 6 sources now, and it has also started giving me a brief of what the first source, the image, is all about. So I think a few of them are still getting uploaded, and once they are done, they would be ready and they would be shown on the left screen. Now, there's one thing that you have to keep in mind. If you want to use PDFs and other these extensions which are mentioned here, you need to have them in your local storage. From Google Drive, you can only take Google Slides, which are PPT extensions, for example, and then you have Google Docs, which are doc files. Apart from those 2 extensions, you can't add any other files from Google Drive. Now, coming to website link, I'll add a few websites that I have. I'll insert. I'll add a few more. All right, so now also have a few blogs and websites. And I will now add some YouTube video links. I have a video on climate change, which I will be adding here. And I can see that as well on the left side. It's a David Attenborough video. So that finishes these 2 aspects. The third one is the text that you can just paste over here. So I have some text generated by Gemini, which I'm going to add here, just to show you the different types of sources that you can have. Okay, now we have finished 11 out of 50. And now let's see what Discover Sources is all about. Now, what are you interested in? Researches. It will generate a few lists of sources that I can potentially add. So that also saves you time in finding sources. Okay, 10 big findings, climate change, Wikipedia. Okay, let me deselect that. Evidence, NASA Science. So I'll be focusing on more of detailed researches than normal blog posts. This is NASA Science. This is IPCC report. This is again another report, Health and Climate Change World Bank. Deselect that. Polar ice caps melting. These are PDF files that are openly available on the internet. UNDP Climate Promise. So I've added a few select sources and added them over here on the left-hand side. Now I have 20 sources, and now I'm going to understand this particular topic from the perspective of multiple sources, whether these are YouTube videos, these are research papers, or any other files that I had offline. And now, using these sources, let's start deep diving into this topic using NotebookLM. The first question I'm going to ask NotebookLM is to explain the importance of the urgency of climate action using a fact-based analysis. And let's see how all of these sources are used to answer this particular question. Now, this is a response that NotebookLM has generated using all these different sources. And now, after each fact that it is given, it has added a referencer. Now, for example, number one is the source guide of the information that you can find here in the Climate Change 2023 PDF. Now, these are again from the sources that I have given NotebookLM. Number two, if I click on that, from the same PDF, you will have some other points. Number three is now 10 big findings from the IPCC report. And from there, it has added relevant, and it will also highlight relevant information that has been used to generate certain sentences. And after all of that, and if you see, because I have specifically pointed out to give a fact-based analysis, it has written the facts in bold. There are 3 dots, which means there are more sources, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is how this entire thing happened. In the end, it also talks about the video that we had added. This is the last chance, as emphasized by David Attenborough. If I click on source guide, it will give a summary of each source. For example, Climate Change 2023 PDF, if I click on the drop down, it will give me a summary of this particular PDF. So I can also go back to this and understand what the PDF is all about. I don't have to open the entire document and see what it is. If I close this and if I click on any other source, it will give a source guide, a summary of that particular source also. Let me go down and see the summary of this. So again, you get a summary of that. So you can also rename these sources based on how you want them. Like for example, I can climate change data, for example. That's how you can start researching about a topic. If you like any of these responses, you can save them to your notes. You can click on Save to Note. Now it gets added here, the imperative of immediate climate action. So you can refer back to these notes now. These become your references, which you can use to further your study, or you can use it for a talk you want to give, or anything else. And now the note that has been created here can be converted into a source, which will go into the left panel. If I click on Convert to Source, you will see that it has been added here, the imperative of immediate climate action. What is the source guide? This is a text that underscores the critical urgency for immediate climate action, exactly what we asked NotebookLM to write for us. So this is very interesting. Now, this kind of tools are something which are not very generic. Now we are entering into a bit of niche of specific applications that AI can have for you. So if you want to have very general conversations, now Gemini can be for you. If you want to deep dive, if you're a researcher, if you really want to be very serious about your work and you're using it for your profession, where you want to be very accurate and thorough, that's where NotebookLM can help you a lot. And I can click on Study Guide. And what Study Guide will do is, based on these 21 sources, it will create a guide for me from which I can study about this topic. So if you want to prepare for an exam, or if you want to create your short notes for a particular examination, you can add all the sources and then click on Study Guide. Now, this is very, very powerful, because what it does is it saves so much of your time into manually writing all these notes. This is the note. As you can see on the right side, climate change, impacts, adaptation, and mitigation. And the study guide talks about climate change from different perspectives and gives you a quiz in the end. What is the primary difference between climate and weather according to the World Meteorological Organization's classical definition? So this was a source that we had added on the left side. Now it very cleverly has started creating a quiz. So if you're a teacher, you want to have a very good quiz, and if you want to give notes to your students to study from, this will save so much of your time. And that's why, guys, NotebookLM is actually a game changer. Go through the entire note. It's very thorough. And again, you can click on this and convert to source anytime. A briefing document. If I click on that, I can use this to brief anyone. Let's say I'm in a roundtable conference or a meeting and I want to brief people about it in very short. I can use the briefing doc. So study guide is more for students, briefing doc is more for professionals. This is the briefing document. Executive summary, main themes and key facts. This is a very condensed form of what we are talking about, and it covers every single aspect of whatever sources I had added. So more the sources that you have, the richer will be your notes, study guides, briefing docs. You also have an FAQ. Now, based on these sources, it will create frequently answered questions for you. Or you can use this if you own a website, if you own a business, if you have SOP, you can add that here and generate FAQs just like that. Essential questions, frequently asked questions about climate change. This is very powerful. And I can click on timeline also. Let me show you what timeline will do. Just give me a moment until this gets generated. So after about a minute, the timeline has been generated here. The timeline will arrange everything in a chronological order. Pre 1750, what happened in until 1920s, and this is how you will get a timeline of any event. Let's say you want to talk about the current affairs that are going on with respect to some geopolitical problems. You can add all the sources, historic sources, current sources, recent sources, and you can create a timeline of it. So you'll get an entire idea of what has happened in this particular topic that you have added. And then it will also have pretty minor things as well, like who has co-authored a publication, what has happened. So the more rich your source is, the better your timeline will be. Now, for example, very insignificant things are also being used as major event in the timeline, right? It is given me a list of every single author. If I don't want that, if I want it to be more generic and more broad, then accordingly I'll have to change my sources. So that's what the note section is all about. Now you can add a note and you can write your own note here. Okay, for example, I can just add a reminder, or I can add my own thoughts about it. And there is a basic text editor box as well here. You can do that. Now audio overview, will look at that in the end. Now before that, let me click on Mindmap. Whatever data has been given to NotebookLM, it will create a mind map based on that. So for those of you who don't know what a mind map is, a mind map is more of a visual representation of what this entire topic is talking about. Let's look at what the mind map is once it gets generated. So I had to wait for about half a minute, and now we have the mind map here. Global climate change. I can minimize it and maximize it like this. I can click and hold my cursor to move around. Introduction and overview. We'll talk about these things, significant global changes past 65 years. And if I click on that, it will generate a discussion based on the past 65 years global changes. So mind map will make sure that you don't get lost in a conversation, especially when you're dealing with a lot of data. And then it gives you the answer to that. And go back here and go back into introduction. And let's say now I want to know more about how it was amplified by industrial revolution. You can click on that and it will auto-generate a prompt. Discuss what these sources say about amplified by industrial revolution in the larger context of introduction and overview. Based on where I click in the mind map, I'll have all the answers. Now let's say research and education. Now there are so many aspects. If you scroll up, it will zoom in. If you scroll down, it will zoom out. Review status of research on this particular research topic. It will give a summary of everything. That's how mind map helps you organize your own thought process so that you understand the topic better. You can download that mind map from here. It will be a PNG image that you can download, and let me just show you how it would look like, just like this. And if I want to zoom in further into a particular topic, and now if I download it, let me save it again. Now it will be the entire thing. So you don't have to worry about fitting it into the screen. It will automatically zoom out and capture the entire thing for you. Now let me maximize everything. And then let's see how this can still fit into a single PNG image and whether the clarity or anything gets affected or not. Download it. So another mind map. This is 4.5 MB. And if I try and zoom in, the clarity does remain the same. So this is powerful, very powerful. A single mind map, this would take you so much of time to make it on your own, right? And anywhere you click, you will immediately get detailed information. Some of the aspects or elements in the mind map also have a front arrow, which means it will further go into the depths of everything. Wow, this is brilliant. This is really good. Click here and you have more. So you can keep on exploring this. And mind map kind of changes the entire game. It makes something very interactive and interesting rather than the traditional text based approach that you have. And those of you already used mind map in your life, you know how crucial it can be at times. Now, coming to the next impressive and interesting part, audio overview. Let me refresh this and clear my chat history. Now, deep dive conversation between two hosts. This is more like a podcast generator. It's a conversation that you can listen to. For example, you don't have enough time to read all of it. Now you're traveling, you're driving, you can just plug in your earphones and generate an audio overview and start listening to that conversation. Before generating, let me tell you what are the customization options. It can be shorter, default, or longer. And what should the AI hosts focus on? Focus on a specific source, only cover the article about Italy. So you can add your customization here. I don't want to go in with any customized feed that I want to give to the AI hosts. I want to keep the ground open for them and I just want to see what they come up with. But you can try this as well. I'll go with default. I want to tinker with the length as well. And I'll click on generate. Generating conversation based on 21 sources. This may take a few minutes, no need to stick around. So I can keep using my laptop for other things. I can keep reading. I don't have to stick to this. I can read about it and parallelly the audio overview can still keep on getting generated. So after waiting for about 3 to 4 minutes, we have a almost 18-minute AI host conversation, more like a podcast that talks about it. Let me just play this and make you listen to the first minute or so.
Welcome, listener. Ever wonder what it truly means when we talk about climate change? Today, we're trying to cut through some of the noise. We're diving into, well, an incredible stack of sources.
Yeah, we've got the latest scientific reports, like from the IPCC, policy analyses.
And even some surprising insights into how this whole global challenge is impacting everything around us.
Right. Our mission today, really.
The first thing that I notice is the speech synthesis does not sound like it's AI made. The kind of ebbs and flows that are there in the speech, the way the tonality changes and the way it feels very conversational, where, the other host picks up immediately from where the previous host has left off. It is extremely impressive. I think Google has used one of its most powerful speech synthesis tools to actually make this.
Is to give you the vital intelligence. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding.
Okay.
Not just the daunting reality, but also the powerful ingenuity being brought to bear on this. It's really the defining challenge of our time. We'll try to distill the core findings, unpack those real-world impacts, look at solutions.
I can maybe clarify some of the complexities too, and the public perception around it all.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because the material we've gathered, it paints a picture that's, well, it's alarming in some ways.
It definitely is.
But also maybe genuinely hopeful in its potential for action.
I think that's fair to say. There's hope there too.
So when you dig into that latest IPCC report, what immediately jumps out is just how widespread and severe these climate impacts already are.
Yep.
So that's a really good audio overview. You can give it feedback, you can share that audio overview. You need to give it public access and then you can copy the share link. So the people in your team and those you want to share this with can also take a look at it. And you can change the playback speed as well, which is very handy because it does seem like a little slow of a conversation. And download that MP3 from here, or you can delete the conversation as well. That's about this. I'll also add the link of this entire 18-minute audio in the description of this YouTube video, so feel free to check that out. Now, coming to interactive mode, which is beta mode, this is where you can chip into the conversation. That's where it gets interesting. Though it's in beta version yet, I'd still like to give it a try and also show you how interesting this is.
Welcome, listener. Ever wonder what it truly means when we talk about climate change? Today we're trying to cut through some of the noise. We're diving into, well, an incredible stack of sources.
Yeah, we've got the latest scientific reports, like from the IPCC, policy analogy.
And even some surprising insights into how this whole global challenge is impacting everything around us.
Right. Our
If you want to join the conversation, you can click on this button.
mission today really is to give you the vital intelligence. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding.
Okay.
Not just the daunting reality, but also the powerful ingenuity being brought to bear on this. It's really the defining challenge of our time. Hey there. Want to share your thoughts on this?
Hello, it's good to be a part of this conversation. I just wanted to know from you of what are your thoughts about how humanity can tackle climate change going forward.
Hello, we're so glad to have you join us. That's a fantastic question to kick us off.
It really is, and it ties right into what we wanted to get at today.
When we talk about how humanity can tackle climate change, it's not just one single solution.
No, it's this incredible tapestry of interconnected efforts.
From what we've been reading, it involves everything from ambitious global policies like the Paris Agreement to groundbreaking new technologies.
And even some really outside the box thinking about how we can work with nature.
So on the policy front, things like carbon taxes and cap and trade systems are pivotal. They aim to put a price on pollution.
Right. Make it more expensive to emit greenhouse gases.
Exactly. And countries are making...
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
I understand from the policy perspective what you're trying to talk about. I just wanted to know from an individual perspective on a very personal level, what is it that I can do to help tackle climate change?
That is such a thoughtful question and something we all wonder about.
Yeah, we often focus on the big global stuff.
But individual action is absolutely part of that larger tapestry we mentioned.
Right. It's easy to feel overwhelmed.
From our sources, one of the most powerful things an individual can do is to simply stay informed.
Exactly what you're doing right now, listener.
Understanding the science, differentiating between solid consensus and noise.
That's a huge step. Public opinion can compel action.
On a more practical level, personal choices can add up.
Think about energy use in your home, for example.
Simple conservation, like reducing your overall consumption.
Or shifting demand to alternative energy sources when possible.
The reports highlight the concept of this.
This is extremely helpful and this is so impressive from Google what they've done. I can also download this audio overview, the conversation that I had with these two AI hosts. And there you go, you have your own podcast. And since it's AI generated, you can use it on your podcast channel. You can use it on your YouTube channel and you can go ahead and share it with people. This is a very interesting way of getting people involved in a particular discussion. And it's more of kinesthetic way of learning that can really guide you into the depths of each topic. So that was about audio overview, and that completes our entire walkthrough of NotebookLM. But there are a few other things. Here I can see that you can share publicly, which you already tried doing. You can share this notebook with other email accounts. You can just type in there. You can keep this restricted or you can keep it anyone with a link can view. You can copy this link. And that's how you can do it. So let me go with anyone with a link. I'll copy the link. I'll also share this link in the description. So you can take a look at this particular notebook and explore further if you wish to. And in the settings, you have the help section. You can go through topics. You can describe your issue if there's something in particular that you have a problem with, and you can fix a problem. You can change the settings and you can also give feedback. You can also connect with NotebookLM on Discord, and that's how you can be a part of that community as well. And you can change the output language. Now, which are the languages that it supports are these few, and I'm sure they would be adding more to it. There are a few local Indian languages as well, which is very interesting to see the options of Indian languages that are there, right? So pretty interesting from Google again. And you can change it to dark mode, change it back to light mode, and you can upgrade to Pro. Now, Pro version, of course, will give you more features, like you have 2 TB of storage, and this is a part of their Google One subscription. You get 5x more audio overviews. You can get more sources per notebook. Like we had an option of only 50, right? So it will give you more sources. And that also includes other things in the Gemini app. So the premium is not particular to NotebookLM. It's a combination of other AI tools that Google offers. So that's it about NotebookLM. I'm sure you must have found this tool very helpful, and I encourage you to use it to save your time. And if you have any other questions and comments about this video, feel free to comment that in the comment section. And to watch more such tools and tutorials, stay connected with Tools to Upskill.